We got some things for you today. Let's go. Look, we got cartoons. That's what I was doing this morning. What were you all doing this morning? Getting warmed up and ready for the Triad salon? Here we're doing it. Let's go. Boom, shakalaka, boom, boom. What's your favorite scale? What's your favorite key to play in? Let us know. Is it like C minor, perhaps? Mr. Yates, it's good to see you. Up here on a stream, it is Saturday in my world. I hope it's just sunny and lovely in your world. We got Gerard coming in from the Netherlands. G major, great key there, Chad. We're not in it right now, but you know, other times it sounds great. Love the key of E. We're gonna bounce around between some keys and let me know if right here and now, out of the gates, as we look at this crazy animation, you can answer this poll by saying 1, 2, or 3. So you can either write yup or mostly, or you can just write the letter or the number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Are these dots making sense to you as you see them? Like when you look at those orbing sort of like fretboard diagrams undulating, is it making some sense as you glance at it? It's like, yep, I got it. Let's dive in. Take me to the deep water, coach. Or are you like, I don't know, maybe, maybe.
Awesome.
Is it awesome, or is it more like,
I don't know, coach. Help me out here.
Yeah. So if you're one of my members, you probably know from all the triad stuff that we do, what we're dealing with here. I think we have a lot of good confidence rolling in here today, but we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about these different shapes and we're going to put triads on turbo. But before we do, I want us to warm up with something that is going to help us with everything that we're doing today. Root name recall. My friends, my family, we know it here. We're just going to kick into a little bit of making sure we know how to find the names of the roots. Starting with the easiest stuff here down on the low 6 string. We probably know that the best. Let's do a little kind of like... Whoa, 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 whoa. Blooper number 1. Let's see if we can... Boom, boom, boom. I'm not Ed Sheeran, sorry. So we got this little simple beat in the background. Your job, I hope you have a guitar. By the way, what kind of guitar are you holding right now? Acoustic, electric, what style? I need you to play it, because what we're going to do here is I'm going to play a note and you need to say it and play it on your side of the screen. Real just basic warm-up stuff, and then we're going to get into some of these triad shapes. You're going to love it. So you'll get the idea. Here we go. 3rd fret, 6th string. You get a little bit of time to think. G. We'll go faster. We're starting off nice and easy. Find the G on the 5th string. We're jumping to the 5th string. G, 5th string. 10th fret. Okay? 7th fret, 6th string. It's a B. Look at all these happy people. You guys are awesome. C on the 5th string. What fret? 3rd fret. How about the C on the 6th string? You got it, you got it, you got it? I hope so. Remember that the 6th string and the 1st string, they share the same name, right? It's kind of a 2-for-1 special. We're going to be talking about a 2-for-1 special with triads in a bit. So if I say 3rd fret, 1st string being this high E, we've sort of already played it, right? We did that G. So you can always just sort of copy paste that in your mind. If I need a B flat on the 6th string, where's that going to be? 6th fret. If I need it on the 1st string, 2 octaves higher, but the same letter name, B flat. So when we get into building triads and we need to quickly locate that B flat to do, like say, a B flat major triad, this is your GPS device. This is that pin that you throw down. You're like, I need an F sharp, but it's like, I'm cool. I just practiced my root name recall. I got an F sharp right here. I got it on the 1st string. We're gonna be able to get there nice and quick. The whole goal of all of this is to get there at song speed. That's turbo. Smooth is fast. You don't need to be, like ripping and rocking up and down the frets to be able to just keep up with the song. So if the song suddenly needs you to play a C major triad, can you find a C? And maybe you already know this shape. We're going to cover that in a little bit. But that's why these root names are so important. And yeah, we got them on our 6th string. Most likely we got those from our bar chords. Let's say an F on the 6th string. So you got that full bar chord, and then we take a piece of it, and we're gonna get, in that case, what I really like are these 4-string grips for triads where you get 2 for 1. We're gonna break it all down a little bit more of this warm up here. In fact, we need the progress bar. Forgot. Normally we do a real tight sort of action-packed workout on weeknights, and we have a quick little warm-up. So let's do the proper warm-up in this sort of sequence. Another little minute or so of the root name recall. How about F on the 5th string? Okay, and if you need a bar chord right there it is, right? And the top 3 strings is going to be a triad right there. We'll walk through this, but I'm giving you kind of a sneak preview of where we're headed with this. How about a B flat on the 5th string? And now I'm going to say the root name, and then I'll just say major or minor. And then I want you to just spell out, let's say if I said B flat minor, just a basic bar chord. We just need to have that sort of nice and easy to find. How about a C sharp major on the 5th string? How about a C sharp major on the 6th string? Right? Gotta have at least those 2 main spots there, right? Hey, Mark Anderson, how we doing? One of our core members here showing up. They're showing up on the weekend, working overtime. All right, how about a G sharp minor? Can we find a G sharp minor or a flat minor on the 5th string? Sometimes the dots freak out and they're going everywhere. How about a D minor? D minor. Or as my friends sometimes say, we played that last song in the key of demolished, when it doesn't go so well, but it's all right. There's a D minor. There's another D minor there. And of course, you'll be like, yeah, and I got the triads to match it, coach. And that is fun. That is flexible. That is melodic and tasty. Ooh. How about a C minor? Not a big deal, just a whole step lower, right? 2 frets lower, C minor. How about an A major? A major, the saddest of all keys, it's true. Who's excited about the Spinal Tap sequel? I think they're one of the few sort of like, franchises that can maybe come back and have the sequel be strong. But boy, we've been waiting. We've been at the puppet show for a long time. Now just play that chord because it's nice. Play an F sharp major, bar chord, and then lift off just the top 2 strings. And this is what I call the Children of the Unicorn chord. This is that 90s chord. It's like, children of the unicorn, rise and face the day. The future is a miracle, don't let it slip away. Like, oh no. Turns out guitar friend Tim is Adam Sandler / Jack Black, more or less, that's what I'm shooting for. Great. Warm-up is over. Watch this. When the progress bar gets to the beep, it'll make some sound effects. That's good. Thank you, progress bar. But we're going to get into the deeper dive here today on a Saturday. Thanks for joining me. As you may or may not know, my name's Guitar Friend Tim. I'm Tim Fagan. I live in Nashville. I'm a professional music producer, songwriter, and guitar lover and player extraordinaire, and I teach guitar. You may have seen my reels and my vertical format content out there. I love doing it. I like being sort of cheeky and quirky and doing my deal, and I know how much y'all love triads. On a scale of 1 to 10, and just answer with a number, how would you rank your desire to learn triads? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the most, like I want to learn triads big time, or like I've just 3 being like, I sort of heard about it, but it's like, I'm not sure what to make of it. So 10. All right. Wow. All right. Paul wants it. 10. See, we gotta test the temperature. See what the desire level is in here. Oh, this is good. Now this is looking like Sesame Street. I haven't tested out this overlay yet, but these are fun numbers here. Okay, so we're ranking up towards 9 and 10, 11. Oh, yeah, the 12. Oh, the Spinal Tap crew is here. We didn't know we could just bust the scale and go into 13s. Okay, great. I love it. Love the enthusiasm. You're going to need it. Okay, so the 2-for-1 special, like, let's just keep it simple and let's just talk about these things in ways that we can all understand, right? So we're diving in now. This is a G major bar chord, right? We know that. We love it. I'm trusting we know that. We just warmed it up. Now, what's stopping us from seeing like just the most basic stuff in the world that we've got triads up here? Now, a lot of times people will focus on learning the triads as a 3-note shape because it is. A triad is built up of a root, a major third, and a fifth when it's a major triad. When it's a minor triad, we'll talk about that in this next segment. It's a root, a minor third, and a fifth. But it's a very simple 3-note recipe. And then these full chords that we play, they're just stacks of, extra notes that fill out the full 6 strings. But triads are so tasty and useful, especially when you're playing over, some kind of a backing track, or when there's a band and you want your triads to be cleaner and leaner so that they can move about and sit in perfectly with the bass and the keyboards. They're just the coolest, which I think you understand that. So now let's just find them sitting right underneath your nose, underneath your fingers, right? I want to make sure that you can grab this and switch back and forth, because believe it or not, sometimes what trips people up the most is just that they don't practice that transition to hold this smaller grip. And when you're holding the 4 strings, it's nice and easy to get 2 triads. Here's a root, a third, and a fifth right there. So that is a triad right there. And then the top 3 strings is another root, third, and a fifth. It would be a root, a fifth, and a third. And if these numbers are over your head right now, don't worry about that. Just know that the shape has your back. If you're holding that shape right there, you've got yourself a G major triad. Let me scribble that in. So there you are. Boom, 1, 2, 3, that's a triad. And now if I hold all 4 of those, this is a triad too. Woo! So that's a triad and that's a triad. And then what you need to be able to do is just isolate and play those 3 strings if you want just that cluster of that triad. But there it is. It's one shape that you can easily remember that will get you both of those really essential triads right there. And now I'm just filling in blue the rest of that bar chord, right? So sounds easy enough, and it is, as long as you practice switching between that full bar chord grip and then what I like is this 4-string grip right here. Because if we focus today, and this is what we're going to do today, we're going to just narrow it down to the top 4 strings. So strings 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These are where triads sing and do some of their best work. It's not all of the places where there can be triads, but if you're up here playing triads on the low strings way up there, great. Once you're at that level, you'll be at that level. But for today, we're going to get so much mileage out of just focusing on the top 4 strings, and we're going to have major and minor triads at our disposal. It's just so easy once you get it going. So this is probably our most classic shape right here. And let's just sort of let's play. Let's see, do we have this little... I cleared that out, but I'm going to create just a little percussive loop right here. Boom. So just a simple vamp on G. What I want you to be able to do here is go 2, 3, 4, and then switch. That's it. Full bar chord. And then switch up to the 4-note version. That transition Oh, Greg, we'll get to that. Oh, they're very much useful. But for today, we're going to get into just this area here where it's going to sit in that register that listen to how it sits above the percussion and the bass. It's a really nice singing quality to these triads that will build into upper register fills and things like that. Okay, so keep practicing that full G major strum and then Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit more spice. We'll do the full strum, and now let's see if we can spell out and then come back down, that transition, right? And then come back down. So that would be, as we go through this, there's definitely things that are gonna be part of your homework where it's like, okay, I'm gonna need to put in some more time making sure that I can smoothly switch to that shape. And then you can isolate even more and just play the top 3 strings, right? And if you can't do it today, this is what you're gonna wanna just sort of gently work on for just a couple minutes before you dive into your regular practice, because we don't wanna have the switch to that be a hiccup, right? Okay, fair enough. That's great. Let's move to another shape. So the most common shape that we also have, and by shape I mean like if we're going with the cage system, which I'm not opposed to, we've got this would be like the E-shaped bar chord right here, right? Okay, so who can tell me where would the G be on the 5th string if I wanted to build the next most familiar bar chord shape that we probably all have? Help me find the G located on the 5th string, on the A string. And there's about a 7-second delay. So I wait here in suspense. Yeah, the 10th fret. These should be things where like, yeah, you got that. Like, what's the big deal? Easy peasy, right? But the information that it unlocks is what's really useful for us now. So exact same pattern there. I put the full bar chord right there. And this one's always kind of tricky for me to hold. I never know. CageBot must return. I agree. Sometimes people want to, if you've ever seen my early YouTube videos, they have this animated robot called CageBot, and CageBot is sort of like the police, basically the security guard of the internet, making sure that everyone's using Cage, because you must use Cage. And I have a little bit of a back and forth with CageBot, and then sometimes people in the comments are like, dude, ditch the robot. I'm like, hey, we're just having a good time, bro. Okay, so we've got this exact same idea. We're getting our major triads squared away. Okay, and the reason, again, that the grip of this is kind of the tricky part here. In fact, to hold all 4 of those strings at once, I find really awkward. So I probably would break these up into that 3 string, top 3 strings right there. So I use my 1st finger, pinky, and 3rd finger. That's how I get there easily. And the reason that I choose those fingers is that later on, when I tell you about the built-in fills, those kind of things, they get very comfortable to play when you have that specific fingering. And then I often will just hold down those 3 strings with 1 finger. But are you getting the idea that like these triads are living inside of chords you already know? We think we know them, but we really need to be able to access them on the fly. So let's just focus on this shape right now. We're going to start by strumming the full bar chord, and then we're going to switch to one of the triads. So for me, I'm focusing on the top 3 strings first. Yeah, that awkward grip. If you can fit your fingers in there with the 3 fingers, I pretty much always, as you see, I'm kind of ignoring that 1st string. It's essentially muted. So just jam a little bit more with this little backing. When we get into the full band backing tracks that you're hearing, I'll give you all the info on how to find those. You'll have access to a whole playlist of those MP3s and PDFs and the whole deal. So if it ever feels like I'm going by too fast, you're like, wait, what was this? What was that? You're gonna have the PDF. You're gonna have this recording also to watch. Okay. So if you're feeling like, well, I know all this, great. I'm glad you do. We're going to gradually add some more things, and we got a lot of people at different levels here. So let's keep playing this a little bit longer, because this next shape that we're going to do after this is probably less familiar, and it might throw you for a bit of a loop. So if I spell this out, triads already start sounding more like they could be the beginning of fills and solos. Ooh, look at that view. So I'm just playing triads, but I'm just putting these little accents to them. If I go back down to this shape, in fact, let's do that. Check it out. Here's what we do now. We do full bar chord there, and then top 4 strings. Now we switch up to this one on the 10th fret, full bar chord, and then do the top 3 strings. Okay, repeat that. Full bar chord, top few strings. You can pick and choose which triads you want to isolate. Now, can we start with the triads? Start with the top strings, okay? Hang out there. And now let's just go straight up to the triad right there. One more time. So now we're just playing the pink notes. We're just isolating the triads, right? Nice and easy. If this, sometimes I get the comment that I'm sort of like the Bob Ross of guitar instruction. I think that award goes to Eric Haugen. He's the more zen. I sometimes still have too much caffeine in my system. But anyway, so check this out. Those are two very familiar bar chord shapes that I think we probably got, right? Right. Okay, so now I'm going to use this pink color again. Now don't get confused. These all stick together, and then this is going to be a zone in there. And every now and then when I'm doodling on the fretboard, I accidentally draw something that looks somewhat like graffiti or somewhat like a crude drawing. I apologize in advance if I accidentally draw a blob that looks upsetting. But this right over here is what we're focusing on. Okay, so do you know, let me know, give me a Y or an N in the chat. Do you use that shape? Like, are you comfortable using that bar chord shape, right? The Spicoli, no shoes, no shirt, no problem. Yes or no? Okay, so it looks like it's kind of half and half. The Y and the N changes size based on like sometimes, always, never. Ow. Great. Just testing the temperature with this shape because some of these shapes will be a little bit more like, oh, I've never used it, or I've seen it, I've tried it once or twice. Get this one comfortable. This would be another thing, like if you don't have it, just spend a little time just getting this shape, and it requires, like, you know, it's a more awkward grip. The pinky has a role to play there, right? The reason I love it is it's got all these qualities to it that are really melodic and just beautiful, just sort of chimey. And a part of it is that it has a major third up on the top register. So each of these shapes has their own strengths and qualities. This one that we played at the very beginning has a root on the top, and that root has a certain sound. Like if we go like, that's a melody that has a certain, it sounds like a bugle, you know, but so before you know it, if you can move smoothly between these triads, you're going to be spelling out harmonized melodies, which is really nice. Okay, so this is like got this nice sort of sound to it. And really, if you can hold that bar chord, you already are holding that shape. So the good news is that it takes a little while to get this grip comfortable, but then once you do, you basically don't have to change a thing. You can just lift the pinky off. And when the pinky is free to roam, it can do some really nice add-ons. And again, these are the built-in fills that we're going to summarize later. Let's put on this little backing thing again. Okay, so we're grabbing this, what would be sort of like the C shape of a bar chord, right? We're on the chord G, but you guys get the idea, right? This kind of looks like what would be like an open C, right? Oh, here we are. So today I probably won't get into the spread triads. What I wanted to just mainly treat this as is like, if this is someone's first day with triads, or maybe your 100th day with triads, it's going to make sure that you're bulletproof with these quick, compact sort of, you know, first four strings. We're going to have major and minor, because this playground that we're building up here, we're just playing one chord right now, but right after this, we're going to jump into moving it around. And if someone was able to just really comfortably grab like all these shapes and just move it around and be able to keep up with the progression of a song, it's so musical, and it sounds essentially like turning guitar into more like a piano. My thumb, yeah, that's a good question, because sometimes the placement of the thumb can have a big role to play in how comfortable it feels. So for this one, I tend to have my thumb a little bit lower and more kind of turn to the side to get the most leverage. And by leverage, it's like, I don't want to be squeezing too hard. You never want to see like the whites of your fingernails. That means you're overdoing it, because guitar doesn't require that much squeeze if we're doing it efficiently. Definitely if your thumb is up here, it's going to limit your ability to get your fingers to curl. there's times where I won't get into the sort of thumb debate as far as like if someone's able to do that comfortably, that's great. But if you really want that efficient leverage, you're going to want to basically bring your thumb so that it's pretty much right behind where you need it most, which is usually going to be right behind the index finger, right? Yeah. So I don't often have the thumb up there, but I think it tends to happen more when I'm going for maybe, or if I need more muting or things like that. Long story short, when it gets to the fingering and the grips that you choose, try to look at my hands as much as possible. Like look at the dots when you want to learn the shapes. Look at my hands if you want to sort of mimic what I'm doing. And then just really ask yourself, is there tension in my, like when you're playing? Just make sure if you feel anything tight or it feels like you're straining too hard, see if you can just sort of relax and still get the same musical result. It's always going to be something that you have to sort of diagnose and be like, okay, actually I do like using my pinky here, or whatever it might be. So yeah, is that making sense? I'll ask you guys now, is this making sense? 1 through 4, these ideas so far. Are we feeling okay? Are we feeling like we could perhaps like continue adding on more information to this wonderful odyssey that we're on, and this Triads on turbo, but we're taking the nice easy route. It's sort of like riding one of those electric bicycles. Where is the line between bicycle, electric bicycle, and moped? Has anyone asked themselves that? Because an electric bike can go like 27 miles an hour, and then once you see someone whipping down the street in flip-flops with no helmet, you're like, you're on a bike, like a motorbike. You're just not acting like it. You're living a lie, kid. Let's see here. So we've gotten our E shape. That's this one. And we've broken it up into 2 triads for the price of 1. You get that idea, right? All right, you guys are understanding it. I love it. Very useful stuff. Now we're going to add the minor recipe. Who can tell me what's the one thing we need to do to all of these chords we just played in order to convert them to G minors? Because what's kind of cool about this little like sort of ultra simple backing track is that I'm not playing a major or minor third. I'm just playing a, yeah, we got to drop that major third just by 1 fret. So check it out. In this shape right here, all we're going to do is lower that note. Just lower that 1 note. So let's scribble that out. And boom. Same game. I'll go to the next shape that we went through in the order that we went through them, right? Okay. I'm going to save this shape for last because that one's a bit of a doozy. Let's dive back into it though. Okay. In fact, I'll just sort of erase all that for now. I think I can undo that. I don't know. Let's check this out. It's kind of nice how suddenly we just played the sadder option, just to be sadder. That's right, Zach. Zach knows. Zach, good to have you. We weren't sure we were going to see you today, but we're glad to have you. Michael B. I didn't even see who got into the stream first. Usually Michael Beckloff there shows up for the stream first, sets up his tent. You know, it's like he's waiting for the new iPhone, and he gets a gold medal for that. All right, here we go. Minor. I'll put on some more reverb here, just because it's fun. Actually, I'll do some slap delay. So there's a triad, top 3 strings. Strings 2, 3, and 4, there's a triad. And what I want for you out of today is to start treating these tiny chords, that's what triads are, as being as important as knowing the classic full bar chord shape. They should be as automatic as that, right? So there we go. We've got that minor recipe right there. Let's undo this. Nice. And let's get up here and play that G minor right there. Oh yeah, we got a moderator or 2 in there too. Hey, Michael Butler. Michael Behave, as we call him. You're in charge there. So this is our minor shape. I love that shape of the top 3 strings. I use that so often for like the... for that Knopfler kind of thing, right? And that's another reason that I love triads, is that they give you this launching off point for soloing. Right? Isn't that great? So you can start to use these triads as a container for your ideas. I could use it as a chord, play them all together at once. I could spell it out, give it some vibrato. That's cool. I could spell just one note of that. And so even if I'm playing within a scale, when I target the tones of a triad, it gives me this really nice quality of hitting chord tones. All right, now let's attack this third spot here. We've got to turn this into its minor equivalent. This one is different than the others because it has two major thirds in it. So we've got to lower that down to a minor third, and then that down to a minor third. This one is a far less common, like there's no way that I would even physically be able to hold this entire shape. But what we get from this right here, this is where we're ending up. That's a really cool shape that if you're not familiar with, I think you're gonna like it. So who can tell me what string from this cluster right here, what string has the root on it? What string has the G, right? This is the shape, Greg. So this one is suddenly like, it would be like if you were on Hot Ones, that show, and you were having like the wings. Suddenly you hit that one wing where you're like, whoa, this just got spicy. So yeah, the G is on the B string, it's on the second string. That's great, you got it. And again, that's why it's so important with the root name recall. If you can start to know the note names on the second string, it'll unlock your location device for something like a triad like this. It's also something where when I go to play like the BB box and stuff like that, I need to know that that's G right there. And so if you can locate that as G as your anchor, because we're not always going to need just a G major or G minor, the chords will move, then you can get there, and you have to get there with your pinky with this shape, which is kind of freaky to get used to, but it's really nice. Okay, we're gonna spend a little bit more time on this vamp, and I want to give you some space to just test out switching in between all three of these shapes. So what I'm doing right now, I want you to do, and I'll get out of the way and just sort of play some low sort of. Yeah, I love Hot Ones. I just saw, I haven't watched it yet, but Will Forte, I love him. He's on the most recent episode, I think. Keep going. As my members know, when I just ramble, I can't help it. You're supposed to keep on playing. A little bit more. All right, gang, how we feeling? How we feeling out there? In a word, describe how you're feeling. In a word, in a single word. How could you, what would the adjective be for how this is hitting your neocortex right now? So the last shape, yeah, the full shape essentially is this. That's that one. And here's a nice, feeling groovy, feeling happy, feeling groovy. A good way to be able to grab this, feeling froggy. Oh, wow, look at all these words. And nary an expletive. I appreciate that from you guys. So who can tell me what this shape right here looks almost exactly like, right? Especially if I lift off the pinky, here's a little mini trivia here. What does that chord represent? Yeah, band notes above the 7th fret. Yeah, we're heading into the uncharted waters here. It looks, somebody's saying like a C7. Yeah, it could be. That could be sort of an interesting. We've got a B flat major coming in there from Tim Taylor. Yeah, it does look like the F shape as we learned it down there. But remember that F shape, that so-called open chord from way back in the day, the dreaded F, that's not an open chord. We now know that was always a bar chord. Isn't that crazy? That the beginner guitarist, the acoustic guitarist, worst nightmare, Mel Bay really hosed us on that one. Where it's like, yeah, really? Okay, that's not, just scoot that up. That's a little bar chord right there. So there's a B flat. So if you can think of it like you're grabbing kind of that major chord and then you're just putting your pinky down, because this is beyond the scope of this lesson, but what we know when we have relative majors and minors, the relative major to G minor is B flat major, right? Those are two sides of the same coin. So if you got comfortable knowing your relative majors and minors, then you could play that major and then just put your pinky down. If this is all hitting your brain like gibberish, don't worry about it. Let's learn by shape today. But you are familiar with probably having something like that, right? Right? It's a great one, and it gets you almost kind of like a, sorry, I whiffed there. And if you can get that pinky sort of hammering on and pulling off, it's really fun. Yeah, okay. So, without further ado, we're going to put on a little breather video. This is my dog, Tony, dearly beloved and full-time angel, Tony, and Lolly, who is out probably like chasing moles in the backyard. And this is from a couple years ago when I had a laser pointer. And you just listen to this. I played it on a baritone. There's a rock and roll track in the background. Just a little breath mint here. Just a little breath mint. Woof, woof. We're getting ready for more here, kids. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Those guys, they're crazy. I tell you what, they are crazy. No, but a very good time. Okay, I want to, obviously, as you guys know, I run a great community. I've got a lot of my members here that somehow show up on the weekends to hang out with me after we spend the week together. So every weeknight we get together and we do workouts like this. We do a 20 or 30-minute version of something like this. There's a theme of the week. It's a blast. People make a lot of progress because they're just simply showing up and playing more guitar. And that's like the biggest hurdle is that people have these beautiful guitars and pick them up, put them down. Life is busy, interrupts you. So if it's all right with you guys, I want to tell you more about what we're doing in the community. It's fantastic. This kind of stuff we're doing like throughout the week, and we're running a really great special offer this weekend. But again, if you guys are wondering like who the heck I am, I wonder that myself quite often. Just a quick flyby of who the heck I am. My name's Tim Fagan. I have a guitar that is now, oh my God, like probably like 37 years old. This is Frank, my very first beginner guitar. How old were you when you started playing guitar or when you got your first guitar? I want to know that. I was 14. My mom surprised me with this beginner acoustic guitar. It's still in the corner right there, gathering dust, but I was obsessed. And what was great was that my friends had all started playing guitar, and for some reason, I just didn't even know what a guitar was. But 59, 42, I love it. I love the range of ages. Like now is the time. Whatever time it is right now, now is the time to jump in and enjoy playing more guitar. Yeah. So for my sake, when I was like just getting going, I was bit by the bug. So I became obsessed. That was my first electric, was a Fender Squier. And the world's worst amp, a park amp that would just rumble like the buffaloes were running and approaching in a stampede. The American Strat, that's Professor Soulsworth. I bought that with lifeguarding money, and it's an amazing Strat. You see me play that often in some of my other videos. It's a silver American Strat with Texas Special pickups. Yeah, I was a very moody teen. I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, but jumping many years forward, I followed music into my life after college. I got a degree in graphic design, but then when I moved out to LA, I entered this contest that John Mayer was running in Esquire magazine. and he had these lyrics that were up for grabs. He's like, "Hey, these lyrics, I don't have any music for them, and if anyone else out there wants to write the music to this, be my guest, and we'll announce one winner." And he called me out of the blue one day after I had sent in this song that I had written to his lyrics. I was sitting in my Honda Civic, eating Panda Express with the engine off and the radio off, and he was like, "Hey, is this Tim Fagan?" I'm like, "Who's this?" I thought it was like a bill collector. He's like, "This is John Mayer." And he starts singing the song that we had written together, and that really gave me a boost into meeting some people. The article came out. He sent me an incredible John Mayer Strat that I'm looking at over there. All these guitars off camera. I know it's so enticing, but it led to me meeting a young songwriter named Colby Calais, and she and I became friends, and we were both just songwriters in Los Angeles. And she blew up, and she hired me as her guitarist and band leader, and we toured the world together, played all the talk shows, the Tonight Show and the Letterman Show, and we even ended up opening for John Mayer for his summer tour, which was like so crazy. It was very full circle, and it was like, yeah, like a couple years later, there I was, after John had given me a boost and just living the dream. And along the way, Colby and I wrote a song with Jason Mraz called "Lucky," a duet, and so Colby and Jason and I worked on that. Had no idea if it was going to make it onto the record. It ended up being the follow-up single to "I'm Yours." So it was just like, whew. Oh yeah, I kicked off my shoes during that time on the tour, but my big feet did all right. So yeah, like one thing led to another, and a life of touring was amazing, but it wasn't necessarily like what my true passion was. It turns out like writing songs and recording them was really my wheelhouse. And it all comes back to my mom and dad. They're both no longer with us, and they're both incredibly influential in my life. Just the inspiration for all my love of music. Long before I picked up a guitar, it was their love of music and the just the classic music that we would listen to over dinner, whether it was like Motown or James Taylor. And from that era, like in the 90s, it was a lot of like, Paul Simon and Steve Winwood and Bruce Hornsby. I'm very much a kid of sort of like the quasi yacht rock era, but man, yeah, they're always with me when I'm playing guitar. And yeah, so after my sort of stint of touring, I just came more and more back to my first love of guitar, And so here we are, literally holding this guitar in this space where I live now in Nashville. And so I've been teaching for about 2 years, and I just love it because guitar is the first love. This is something where I can connect with all you people out there that are anywhere and everywhere in the world, and people that are coming back into playing guitar. That's my buddy Galen. He and I went to University of Michigan together. He's one of our community members, and he's a rock star. And we just started working together a few years ago, hey, let's just get together over Zoom and like just do some lessons. And from that, it grew into this idea of building a community. So it was almost like I was testing out ideas on him. This is a recent clip of him just playing through some triads. Listen to those triads with a bit of tremolo on there. Just beautiful. And I mean, he's come a long way. He's always had the music in him, but now he's able to express it. Just a lot of fun. And he is just one of many, examples of people that are just rocking it now, just playing more guitar. This is a recent gig where I opened for Victor Wooten. If you know Victor Wooten, that guy is a stud and a huge influence on me as well. He's just an incredible musician and an incredible heart and mind for music. But yeah, this comes now back around to you guys. I don't know if you feel this way. I made this illustration, and that's Cage Bot in there, kind of representing like just how crazy it is out there on the internet, where you can find all the information and then some that you could ever ask for, and it puts a lot of the decision making on you to figure out what you're going to enter into the search field in YouTube. And then you hit a lot of opinions where everyone's got a way to try to grab your attention. It's almost like a marketplace where people are grabbing your sleeve to be like, oh, come over here, memorize the whole fretboard. Then someone else says, don't memorize the whole fretboard. You'll ruin your musicality. It's like, I don't know. But if I was just joining now, I would feel pretty overwhelmed by all the stuff that's going on. If you could put into the chat, make a comment. What's a topic that you feel like you got obsessed about going down YouTube rabbit holes? Was it caged? Was it triads? Was it like memorizing the fretboard? Is it modes? Because this stuff does pop up over and over again, and I see it too. And I've clicked on a ton of those videos. I've tried to make some of those videos to see what value I could bring to people. But what it all came down to is like, I realized when I was taking like a yoga class or like a workout class, at the end of it, I was just so grateful that someone else, a coach that I trusted, had made the decisions for me for like that hour or whatever. And honestly, that was like I was lying in a puddle of sweat at the end of like a hot yoga class. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that my brain got a break from having to not only like organize the workout and then do the workout. And that's the thing that I wanted to provide for people, because I thought it's so obvious, it works so well. Why can't it work within guitar? So I made this whole brand and this idea of guitar workout of the day. I am Guitar Friend Tim. There's a guitarfriendtim.com. It leads to the same place, but I went out and I bought the URL for guitarworkoutoftheday.com. And it's a simple recipe. It's kind of what you saw with that progress bar. We have like our warm up, we have the workout, which is the topic of the day. And we keep that same theme throughout the week, so you get some continuity. But you can basically drop into any workout, just like a gym. It'd be like, all right, if I drop in and we're doing, like legs today, I can figure out like how to jump in and get something out of it. If we're doing cardio, it's all just like, just hop in, no excuses, no worries. You're good to go. And it's working. The workouts are working, I tell you. We're now up to, as of this workout, as a Saturday workout, we're up to 386 of these. And you can see this is just kind of a screen recording of what it looks like inside the membership, where there's these topics, these thumbnails that come up, and you'll have a batch of workouts every week. Yeah, and cool people. Peter knows. Peter's one of our recent members. He only joined a couple months ago, and he's just hit the ground running. And yeah, the community is the thing. So what you see right there, that Dare to Share, is a monthly challenge that we do with the members. So you're not just in there isolated doing your own workouts by yourself. You have the community checking in and sharing their own progress. And that's massive. And that's one of the things that I wanted to just like bring to your attention, is that you need some people who actually care about guitar as much as you do. This is an example of, in our welcome area, people will come in and they'll just introduce themselves. So Will came in, back in January. Tony, one of our members, welcomes him in. Right away, people get in there even before I do, just saying like, hey, like welcome. You're going to enjoy this place. Jeff always welcomes people in. He's amazing. And then another new member came in, a couple days later, Zach. And what I wanted to demonstrate with this is that, my members are there to welcome you in because they were in your shoes not long before. And what's so cool is that this last comment, this comes in from Will, who had only joined, that was like 3 days after Will had joined, and he was welcoming in new people. So you're going to be like those zombies that get bit by the bug, and you're just going to be a fiend for playing guitar, and you're going to be excited to see your guitar friends. That's the nature of the community itself. And these are some just great things that people have said. I'm letting you know that people are sincere, and many of these people who are making these great comments are here in this stream right now, and they don't have to be. They've paid their dues, and they're showing up for more. So if there's a part of you that has been looking for not just like knowing what to practice, but having people that are practicing with you, this is the place. The other thing that I added recently, this is for the people that want a structured path. Like if you want courses that go step by step, I created this incredible sequence, a month-long sequence that is taking our top lessons and our top songs, putting them together in this flow. So if you want to just study on your own, you can dive into the deep dive lessons where it has great videos and walkthroughs and PDFs and the whole deal, these interactive tabs, and that's the Month to Mastery. So that also is included in this whole membership. The guitar workouts of the day, you can treat that as something that you can jump into on a weekly basis whenever you have time. And then when you want to go deeper, you have the Month to Mastery to give you more of the meat, as it were. And that way, for people that really love knocking down things on the checklist, that'll give you that structure that you're craving. Yeah. I'm not good at bragging about myself, but I've done some cool stuff. The work with, Jason Colby and that contest with John. And I also was asked to be one of the coaches in the Paul David's Accelerator program, which was a great experience. And so, out of several people that sent in their applications, I was one of the people that was handpicked when he needed to have a specialized coach for teaching some of his students. This is a special bonus for you guys. I'm gonna put on some music in the background. And it expires Sunday night. If you sign up for a free trial, you're going to get a personalized practice plan from yours truly. And many of you who signed up for the last boot camp that we did got that. It's really me. You send me a video of your playing, and I'm going to send you a video of me giving you dialed in feedback. So this is only until Sunday night. Don't whiff on it. It's great. And look, even if you decide not to stick around after your free 2-week trial, you're still going to get a practice plan made for you by me. And you also got this risk-free guarantee. And don't you go running off right now. We're going to talk about built-in fills. I know I'm selling my wares here, but you guys get the idea. If you've seen any of my content out there in the wild, and here we are, like you clicked on it, you liked it, you signed up for this, and I'm going to give you even more value of the Triads built-in fills. But I want you to know that you are totally covered. Like even after your trial is over, you're like, hey, I want my money back. It's okay. You got it. I got it. We'll take care of you. If we go back out into the wild, out into the deep water, it's a bummer. Look at that guy. He's so bummed out. He's got his blue guitar, but he's got a blue heart. He's just out there clicking on random videos. What's the point of that? There's no plan of attack. Starting over constantly. Playing the same old stuff. What are you doing to yourself? You're actually getting worse? You're getting bored with it? How many times can you keep on quitting? Now is your moment. Now is your moment. I'm so good at selling things. Look at me go. Become the guitar player you know you can be. You're going to stay in the zone. You're going to know exactly what to practice. You got the community of fellow players, and you'll be crushing it for a year, not just like a short stint. It's not just a batch of lessons where you just plop, have 900 videos. Now is the time. We have 386 as of today guided workouts, and you can dive into the archives and watch any of them. They're all there. They're all searchable by topic. We have the self-paced courses. That's the Month to Mastery. The Dare to Share monthly challenges. We have weekly Zoom calls with the community. You're going to like these people. We'll force you to like us. We're a good time. Structure, accountability, community, and more fun than you can shake a Les Paul at. Or what's that one, the Acoustasonic? How bad is the Acoustasonic? Fight me on that. It's a bad guitar. Special offer yet again, reminding you, it expires Sunday night. You're going to get a personalized practice plan from me, and that is just my gift to you from me, even if you totally bail after the free trial.
But why?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? So just to recap, I know it's a lot of logos and a lot of ideas, but you're going to love this. You get the workout of the day. That's weekly fresh workouts. It's so incredible, and you get all the previous workouts, obviously. That's just like rock and roll and ready to go. It's like what we're doing today. You're going to get access to the whole community of people like just sharing and daring and checking in on each other, dropping in songs that they love, all that good stuff. And it's going to be it's your new crew. You're going to get the Month to Mastery, a month-long guided tour. You can take 2 months to do it. You can take 1 day to do it if you just want to dive into it at your own pace. But it's self-paced, really well-built, interactive tabs. And for those that know about this, you know that we have 1 week before we kick off our 12-week special coaching program called Fast Forward Guitar Player. Now, this is a special program. It's an additional sign-up. So you get the community separately. That's everything that we listed. But Fast Forward is kicking off April 21st, and it's a small group coaching program. It's amazing. We just did our first wave of it that wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and it's just outstanding. It's more of the diving into the triads. A lot of what we're doing today. Picture that on steroids, and incredible results. So if you're feeling like, I like this guy, yes, I want to do the workouts, yes, I want to do the Month of Mastery, and I want more direct feedback from him, you get weekly feedback sessions from me. We have a small group meeting each week. This is the rocket fuel. This is sort of like, if you really want to go for it, That's the creme de la creme. And boom, check that out. If you decide to sign up for that, you're going to get a free year membership to the community. That's wild. So everything that I've been telling you about right now, you would get that just built in. This is for first time for the new members out there. You're going to get that thrown in for free, which is amazing. And this is if you feel like you're ready, if you feel like it's time to like no more faffing about, as the Brits might say. I'm dropping into the comment section now. That's the link to learn more about the Fast Forward program. In fact, I'll go over here on this screen. That link takes you to this page, which tells you all about the Fast Forward program. It's fantastic. The feedback, accountability, structure, teamwork to the max. And you can read up on the amazing testimonials. The first group of fast forwarders, as we call them, just graduated, and they are so stoked. They are still staying in touch, and they want to do more get-togethers and collaborations. It may lead to you becoming a full-time musician. You don't even know. A lot of times people say like, I don't play gigs. I don't get out of the house. I'm fine just doing my thing. And I'm saying you have no idea what you're capable of if you just rock a little bit harder with a good coach. Okay, so that's the spiel. If you have any questions, let me know. I just dropped into the chat. I'll drop it again. This is the application for the Fast Forward, or the page that gets you the info to apply for Fast Forward. The guitarworkoutoftheday.com is where you head to get the free trial and to do the community sign up for the guitar workouts and that whole thing. It would be amazing to have you join us. And again, only until everyone who signs up between now and Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Central Time is going to lock in that personalized feedback session. You'll get a video from me in response to your video, and you guys are going to enjoy it. Furthermore, if you want to access the all the downloads from the workout that we're doing together today and a PDF summarizing the triads that we're doing, there's a link in the description below the YouTube stream right there. So if you look at the YouTube that you're watching right now, go to the description area. You've got the link to the community as well as a link to the free downloads and all that kind of stuff. All right, so if you're still with me, if you haven't run off in the name of like, bah humbug, this guy out here trying to buy a sandwich, trying to buy dog food, trying to make his life better by spreading the guitar love, well then, thank you for sticking around. You have earned a chance to watch Tony surf. Let's go, Tony! Let's go, Tony boy! Okay, so check this out. We're gonna get into the built-in fills, and you're gonna love it. So let's say we put on this right here. Let's go, Tony. Let's break down this here progression. G, B, A, and C. Okay. We'll do that as an A minor, and then we'll do C major. Great. So I'm going to equip you now with some really cool ways to add built-in fills. So check this out. Bada boom, bada bang. That's our G major triad. We know it now. That's the E shape of it. Now, those little fills right there, I just call them built-in fills. You're not going to find that in any textbook, but they are what they sound like they are. So using the yellow, the sort of maybe baby puke kind of color, we're not sure what color that is. These are just optional sprinkles. And I like to use like the available finger there, the pinky right there. And I want you to experiment with these and trust your ear. So if this progression goes from a G major to a B major, it sort of does a walk up, almost like it's almost like a sitting on the dock of the bay or creep. And then it does an A minor, and then it does a C. Let's see if we can take these built-in fills and just test them out. And just try to see how they sound. When we hit the A minor, let's just sort of hit a regular A minor. We'll get into the shapes there in a little bit for that. But this is going to test your ability to scoot this shape around. And remember, you've got your location device right here. That's your root. You also have a root right there. Boom. So you've got to be able to slide that to the corresponding shape. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to B. Now we've got an A minor. Just play an A minor. And then a C. Keep going. I want you to be nice and smooth with these and trust your ear. If you like it, use it. If you don't, scrap it, you know? Yes. Some of these will create like that sus4 sound. Yeah. Or like you're hammering on and suspending a ninth or a sixth. But the beauty is that for right now, for today, the true action is just learning the shape and learning how to execute it. And then kind of asking yourself, do I like this? Do I enjoy it enough to then kind of label it, learn the numbers, learn the theory behind it? Okay, so these, I'm just going to throw them at you quickly. These are just possibilities to experiment with. Let's take this exact same, let's just move through each one of these shapes. Let's move up in the same order that we did before. And actually this one, I'll switch over to this angle right here, because I think this will allow me, if I do this right, to draw that there and that there, right? Because we sort of go on my little fretboard diagram here. I've only got like 12 frets, but so look at these. I know this will look more crazy than it'll make more sense when I sort of spell it out. In fact, I probably wouldn't put that dot. So like if we got this right here, right? Now we've got, actually one that I missed that I use a ton that I was playing earlier is this, right? So just focus on this area up here. We're holding that G triad. If I lift off, that's a really nice sort of country style sounding fill. Right? So for this grip where I'm holding the top 3 strings, love that. For this grip where I'm doing sort of the finger across, that's that kind of Keith Richards sound, right? So this is why there's not one exact fingering, because it depends on what you intend to do with your fills. But let's just try that, that little combination. And can we now slide this cluster around where we need it? So there's G, there's B down there. Then we'll do an A minor. Just for now, we'll just keep the minor just regular as a chord. Then we got a C right there. So again, not all of these little built-in fills will be like sounding perfect, but the idea is that you get it nice and comfortable so that you could do it, and then you could just trust your ear. So let's try it again. Here comes this G up here. Just mess around. Then we got B. A minor. Now we got C. How about this shape? This will sound a little bit like an ear pull, but it's all right. Keep trying that out. I'm going to fill in this third shape that we had here. This one has a lot of possibilities to it. If I put it in the wrong spot. That seemed too good to be true. Right there. Okay, so check this out. Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. Same type of thing here, and this starts to overlap with that other shape. So for a moment, I'm just going to sort of steamroll it there, but we're just focusing on that. I know it looks like, oh, where do the dots begin and end? It's just this right here, okay? So this one requires a little bit of maybe letting go. See that in order to get that nice and clean, I have to sort of let go and then be able to come back. Okay? Let's check that out real quick. Then we'll get the minor shapes going. So, got to be able to find the B. How about we go up here? Then we do the A minor. We can do that up here also. Keep on going, gang. Keep on going. Noise. All right, we're going to move on to a different groove here now. Different set of changes. We're going to get into the minor. Okay, so we got C. But we're also going to bring along the major shapes as well. So we've got C, B flat, and then F. Okay, I'm going to make it C minor, E flat major, B flat major, and then let's do F minor because these bass notes are just playing bass notes, right? Then we got a little turnaround here. What does that do? It does like so it's like a G sharp to a G. That's just sort of like a little build up. It sort of resets the groove. But let's just walk through this nice and easy. Let's say we take this C sharp minor shape right up here. Boom. We've got this now. We did part 1, we did part 2, and now we're into part 3. This should look a lot like, oh, that's just the, the minor pentatonic box 1. I'll even add that note there. And these are just, again, nice things that are available. Sort of Hendrixy and stuff like that. So it's based around this idea that the triad is there, and then we can play some fills that sort of enhance that. All right, so let's just try that, focusing on that C minor right there. Just over this part right here. Here we go. Now we switch to that E flat major. Nice. Let's look at what's great about this is that we've got ba ba boo boom boom. We've got this F minor that comes up right on top of that spot if we want to stay in that same area, but it's based off of this shape, right? So this is, if we're just taking C minor, so the only dots I'm putting up there right now represent that C minor cluster of 2 triads, the 2-for-1 special, right? These are all really nice possibilities that you can try. Look at that. This one has a whole bunch of things. And so there's our C minor. Get good at that. How about this? So that requires that pinky kind of stretching. And then on some frets, it'll be a longer reach than others. It'll be kind of tricky, right? That's a great thing to be able to do. So you kind of start to get these licks. Ozzy, how we doing? These licks that are kind of like, you're playing pieces of scales, but you can base your knowledge of it by targeting the triads, right? So this is a perfect example right here where the goal is to be able to take that shape and move it to the F. So I'll let you decide. Maybe you're going to play the C minor down here, then go up to an E flat, then go down to a B flat there, then go. This is where the player has to decide where you're going to put these moves. And I'll just put this kind of like dividing line just so you remember that that's a shape and that's a shape. Right? So it doesn't look like just a complete circus out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flat major, B flat, F minor. Now we got this turnaround, G sharp to G, Keep going. Nice. Yes, that's a good point, Justice. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm trying to sort of keep things going, and sometimes I'll see a comment. Sometimes I'll see a comment that would make my squirrel brain dive off into the weeds. But when people are saying F shape, and this is kind of the point that I was making. It's like, why do we say F shape? Because we associate that with an open chord, a quote unquote open chord that we learned back in the early days, right? And so I talked about earlier in the stream, which you may have missed, is like people, we lock on certain shapes, right? We sort of imprint on them like a duckling. The duckling sees mama and then it's like, mama, like whatever the duckling can imprint on a broom and be like, mama. And we imprint on the idea that if we might call that the D shape. And that's why the cage system is very appealing, because it's like, oh, you know that shape that you learned on day one of playing guitar? Look at that. There it is again. There it is again. And so I think when we see that shape, we think, oh, that's the F shape. And it's like, there it is. It's a movable shape, as Justice was talking about. And the goal is to make sure that we can move it at song speed. So it's not sitting there as an idea of like, yeah, I know that shape. But it's like, yeah, but do you know that shape when you need it to be a B, when you need it to be an A flat, like on the fly? And that's exactly what we're doing, because the power of guitar being such a movable shape, sort of centered instrument, is that we can take the same sort of grips and just be able to move them. Yeah, the F shape is essentially just, as I was saying, and this is what I was mentioning earlier, it's just the top part of a bar chord. So it gets sort of lumped in there as an open chord, because I think when we're teaching beginner guitar, it's like, well, you've got C and G, where's that F? Because we want to have an F chord because it goes so well with C, but there isn't really an open F chord, you know. Maybe I need to make a YouTube video about that. I have to be like, there's no such thing as an open F chord. All right, we're missing one more shape from our minor group over here for the built-in fills. Let's take it, where would it be? It's going to be actually, for the C, it's going to be up here pretty high, up above. Well, let's do it for the F. Okay, so if I needed to build an F minor, this is that shape that I was talking about before, where we find that F on the second string, and then we build this shape, which is nice. And I like these aspects of this shape. What you might start to recognize is that this little shape right here has built into it, has like the Albert King box, right? Right? So that's another way in which this shape shows that its value is pretty immense. Nice. So let's try this now. This is the shape, and that right there is centered on F. We're going to need this on F. We could use it on the C as well. The C would be finding the pinky right there. So check it out. So if I start right here on the C, B flat major, now we need that F. Yeah, the MIDI's cooking today. That's the secret. Everybody asks about it. It's like, it's just a Jamstick MIDI guitar. In fact, Jamstick reached out to me, and I was thinking, like, what I really need them to do, I don't need to necessarily help them sell their guitars as much as I want to, like, develop a software with them where it's easy to do the on-screen stuff. Anyway, he knows all the chords. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're seeing the layout of the pickups and stuff. Yeah, so there's the MIDI pickup, obviously, humbucker, a couple single coils, and I often have it up in the 4th position because it kind of kills some of the hum and the buzz, but the humbucker is pretty good. Guitar friends, you guys are a lot of fun. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? In a word, describe how you feel about triads now. Those were our earlier words. Now how are we feeling about it? Now how are we feeling about it? Oh yeah, the triple play. Yeah, I got the triple play, the Fishman triple play on the acoustic. That's good, Sven. Yes, rock them dots. I hope to see more dots out there. I've already seen a lot of people using the word workout in their marketing materials, and I've trademarked guitar workout of the day. So, but the world is our oyster. We're having a good time out here, gang, and thank you all for sticking around. Again, these jam tracks that I'm using are very much yours to dive into and enjoy. Let me see if I can pull up the page that you will get to. So the link below the below this YouTube video, there's so many different links and stuff. It turns my brain to mush. I know. This is the page. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, this is not the page. This is the page. Well, you'll see this page first, right? And then let's see. It'll take you to this page, which will be awesome. And then you just scroll on down, and it's got Triads on Turbo. It's got this playlist with these amazing tracks. It's got the PDFs, which summarizes that. And it also has a section where you can send me a video. So you can submit a video of you performing something over these tracks. And honestly, if I like it enough, I'll review it. And I may even give out a free membership to the community. But you guys know by now that the community is amazing. You can join it for 2 weeks free, try everything, and do it before Sunday night expires, because if you do it over the weekend, you're going to get a practice plan custom made by me for you. You'll send me a video. It'll be amazing. You guys are great. Oh, this is a fun one. Sort of the country jam to take us out. We're going to say farewell now. You guys are amazing. Tripping on this good time. What do we got? This one's like, this is all major chords. This is good. So this is like A major up to E, down to G, and then up to D. There it is. Go forth and prosper. You're all good people. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Dr. John, pleasure to have you. Thanks, Sven. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jeff Miller. Thanks, Sonny. Hey, thanks, Paul. All right. Thanks, Michael B., Stewart, Jeffrey Ash, Jazar. I know the name dropping is not everyone's favorite. That's all right. We'll just drop your name off the list. DJ Bliss, Michael Piper, Greg S., Steve G., Andrew Gordon, Dreamer, E. Zarling. Yeah, I see you, Eric. Let's go. Come on, David Staples. Let's go, everybody. Join the Guitar Friends community. Come on, do it. You've come this far. You get 2 weeks to kick the tires, see if it's this fun every time. It is. You're gonna love it. The kids go crazy for it. They just can't get enough of it. We'll see you, gang. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your weekend. All right.